champions of the past. We have world champions of the present. Marissa Shields in the building. Marissa.
Jake Paul, it's clear to me you are desperate for a reality check. You know what? If I made my money impressing 4-year-olds on YouTube and managed to somehow become a multimillionaire from it, I'd probably live in a dream world too. But let me explain something to you about combat sports. There are a whole bunch of men out here who will never be as famous as you, will never make the money you've made, who would kick the living fuck out of you.
No, he's fighting a 57-year-old champ now. What's
58.
58. Don't want to take a year away from you, Mike.
He's fighting a guy that's almost 60 years old. And you know what I mean? I mean, that says it all. That says it all. There's nothing else that needs to be said. That's his shtick. That's his thing. He fights guys that are old, usually undersized guys, older, undersized guys. But he's fighting Tyson here, and him and Tyson are going to make a shitload of money.
A bunch of money.
Andrew Tate has just leaked the bizarre fight contract details with Jake Paul, the YouTuber turned boxer. The two have been exchanging insults online for months, and while everyone knew something was coming, no one expected this to get as serious as it has.
Fucking internet. If you want to fight and you want to send a contract, send one to me. I will take a few weeks break from living my retired life to kick the living fuck out of a fucking goofy, fucking entitled dickhead like you. You know my name, Andrew Tate.
You might have a fight on your hands.
That would go crazy.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. No, seriously.
I'm
let's
about
do
the
it.
action. Like I'm less talk now. That like
You just don't see it as a sustainable thing.
He fought Tommy Fury and lost. Where's that rematch?
And what makes this fight extra interesting is that unlike the usual staged hype jobs we've seen before, this one has some real tension, serious money on the line, and some shady clauses that'll make you wonder if this whole thing is a disaster waiting to happen.
All he fights are old guys and whatever, but listen, say what you want, he wins, and he makes money. So he's doing his thing.
Two brothers, one cage. Jake Logan, you Tristan. Who comes out alive?
You know what? I'm trying so hard to not start internet beefs. I'm really trying not to.
You could say Jake and Logan, man.
Bro,
Don't worry about it.
No, I can't lie. Bro, I'm going through life. I'm trying to live peaceful now.
Andrew Tate, the self-proclaimed top G and former kickboxer, has had beef with Jake Paul for what feels like forever. Jake Paul has been on a mission to prove that he's not just a guy who's good at fighting because of money and hype. So, what better way to really show the world his boxing chops than by facing off against someone like Andrew Tate, who loves to claim he's unbeatable? The fight is set to happen in Romania, but let's be honest, it's not about the location. It's about the tension. These two can't stand each other, and trust me, that's going to make for one hell of a fight.
me versus Andrew Tate.
Wow.
But here we are, so we could talk about that side note announcement. And please go watch the episode.
Hold on a second. What you mean you versus Andrew Tate? Because
No, I'm not saying a fight. I'm saying like our back and forth. He talks shit about me and like says he wants to beat my ass or can beat my ass and all this stuff.
I think there's a better fight to make.
Now let's talk about the real star of the show, the contract. Andrew Tate has decided to go all in on transparency by releasing the details of the fight contract, and let me tell you, it's a wild ride. The stakes are insane, the penalties are downright hilarious in that cringy kind of way, and the clauses are something you'd expect to see in a mix of WWE drama and Shark Tank business deals. Honestly, this is where the fun really kicks off. First of all, let's get this out of the way. We all know why people are watching this fight. Money. Big money. Tate and Paul aren't doing this just for the clout. No, they've both been cashing in on this fight with insane contracts that would make even the most seasoned negotiators raise their eyebrows.
If my brother doesn't fuck you up, I will. And it has to go down. But I don't think he gets in the ring with one of us. I think it's too big of a risk.
The winner of this fight is set to take home a cool $10 million. Sounds good, right? Well, if you thought that's all there is, you'd be wrong. You see, the contract has a little twist to it. If the fight goes to the judges' scorecards instead of a knockout, the winner gets only half that amount. That's right, a measly $5 million. So, do you think these two are going to let this one drag out? Hell no. They're both going to throw everything they've got to get that full $10 million. Because $5 million just doesn't have the same ring to it, does it? And don't think for a second that either one of these guys is backing down or pulling punches. With that kind of cash on the line, every jab, every uppercut, and every feint is going to count. If you're thinking of betting on this fight, let's just say both Paul and Tate will be fighting like their bank accounts depend on it. Because they do. Now let's talk about the part of the contract that's about to give these two nightmares. Random drug testing. If you thought the battle was going to be about skill and strategy, Tate and Paul are about to get hit with a whole new kind of pressure. Both fighters are subject to random, no-notice drug testing. So if either of them is planning to use anything shady to gain an advantage, they're in for a rude awakening.
Hardest sport in the world, and people dedicate their lives to this, and most of them never get a payday. It never pays off for the majority of fighters, all of which would fuck you up. I'm one of the lucky ones. I made a little bit of money. I don't have 50 million to bet with you, but I do have 3 million to bet with you. So this is your offer. $3 million.
The penalties here are pretty severe too. If either of them fails a drug test, they lose out on not just the fight, but a massive financial penalty. I mean, if you're Andrew Tate and you've spent years cultivating an image of being top tier, or Jake Paul and you're trying to keep your undefeated streak intact, a failed drug test would be catastrophic. We're talking about the kind of image damage that could make or break both of their careers. They know they have to be clean, or else the consequences are far worse than just losing the fight. Now, is it really a surprise that Tate would throw this clause into the contract? The man's a strategist, and making sure there's no room for cheating makes sense for someone who's always playing the long game. As for Jake Paul, he's not exactly the most trustworthy guy when it comes to playing by the rules. This is a game changer for both. But wait, there's more. A rematch. If Jake Paul knocks out Andrew Tate, or if Tate gets the submission over Jake, the fight is over. Full stop. There's no, let's try again next year. No second chance to get back at the other guy. It's just one fight, and the winner gets the glory. We're talking about a contract so full of drama, penalties, and chaos that even the most intense soap operas are jealous.
You are desperate for a reality check. You know what? If I made my money impressing 4-year-olds on YouTube and managed to somehow become a multimillionaire from it, I'd probably live in a dream world too. But let me explain something to you about combat sports. There are a whole bunch of men out here who will never be as famous as you, will never make the money you've made, who would kick the living fuck out of you. This is the hardest sport in the world, and people dedicate their lives to this, and most of them never get a payday. It never pays off for the majority of fighters, all of which would fuck you up.
This could really make things interesting. Think about it. No rematch means the loser has nowhere to go. They can't claim they were off their game or unlucky. There's no chance to redeem themselves and try to prove they're better than they appeared in the ring. And that, my friend, is some serious pressure. Imagine being Jake Paul, constantly dealing with the "he's just a YouTuber" label, and knowing that if you lose, that's it. Your undefeated record is shattered, and you have no second chance. On the flip side, imagine Tate, the self-proclaimed top G, getting knocked out by a YouTuber turned boxer. The internet would have a field day.
I think you're focused on boxing boxers, people that are in the space that you reside.
Jake, I know he's been talking shit about you, bro. Yeah. But with your blessing, can I beat the shit out of Andrew fucking Tate?
100%.
Let's move on to another juicy part of the contract, the weight clause. Both fighters are required to make weight for the fight, and if either of them fails to do so, they will lose 30% of their paycheck. This isn't just some weigh-in drama you see at the beginning of most boxing events. This is real, serious money on the line. Fail to make weight? That's a huge chunk of your payday gone, just like that. For both of these guys, who thrive on their image and brand, a public failure like this could be devastating. It's not just about looking good in front of the cameras. Missing weight means showing up unprepared, and in the world of boxing, that's a big deal. If you can't even get your body into the right shape for a fight, how can anyone trust that you're ready to step into the ring and win? For Tate, who prides himself on his discipline, and Jake, who's worked hard to prove himself as a legit boxer, a failure to make weight would do serious damage to their credibility.
does tend to keep those guards down, but he's comfy at that point.
Oh, and let's not forget the pay-per-view clause. This is where it gets even crazier. Both fighters are set to receive 50% of the PPV sales. That's right, every dollar fans spend to watch this fight will go straight into their pockets. So what does this mean for the total payout? A lot of money. Both Jake and Tate have massive followings, especially on social media, and fans are going to be clamoring to watch the drama unfold. We could be looking at a record-breaking PPV sale, especially considering the drama and hype around this matchup. I mean, this isn't just any fight, it's the most talked-about battle of egos in recent memory. With that much money on the line, expect both fighters to bring their A-game, not just in the ring, but in the marketing too. They'll be hyping this up non-stop on their platforms, making sure everyone knows how high the stakes are. The tension is going to build, and the PPV sales will reflect that. If you're a betting person, you might want to consider how much cash will come from fans eager to see these two go at it.
If you want to fight and you want to send a contract, send one to me. I will take a few weeks break from living my retired life to kick the living out of a goofy, entitled dickhead.
So what does this all mean? Well, if you thought celebrity boxing was a joke, think again. This fight is shaping up to be one of the most intense, drama-filled matchups of the year. The contract alone is enough to keep you on the edge of your seat. And with $10 million, no rematch clauses, random drug testing, and intense weight penalties, these two are not just fighting for glory. They're fighting for their careers. This is far beyond just a fight at this point. It's a spectacle, an ego battle, and a money-making machine all wrapped into one. Will Jake Paul maintain his undefeated record? Will Andrew Tate prove he's truly unbeatable? Or will one of them make a mistake so catastrophic that they lose everything? Whatever happens, one thing is for sure. This fight is going to be one for the history books. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's get a debate going. Is it all just a big hype job, or is this really going to be a showdown for the ages? Let me know where you stand, and don't forget to hit that like button if you're excited for this chaotic mess of a fight.